y'all. It's season 3 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, and we humbly thank you for tuning in. Be Your Own Kind's mantra is there is never an inopportune time to be yourself. In other words, be you without apologies. In this season, I will be presenting nuggets and interviewing individuals that are creating their lane and rocking it. Be sure to check out the featured businesses in the description box and follow us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and pretty much every platform. Okay, now let's take flight. Well, good evening, Christy. How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fabulous.
Awesome. Thanks for being on our podcast today.
You are so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. Let's see. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I moved about 30 something times, many times for absolutely no reason. But I now live in Spring, Texas, a little north of Houston. And I like to share my story. My story began around 18 years ago. I got an opportunity to work for a Fortune 500 company in sunny Southern California. I lived in Seattle, Washington at the time, where it was always rainy. So moving to some place there never rained was great. And I had an opportunity, like I said, to work at a great company at a very young age. Yes, I was only 4 years old at the time, 18 years ago. But I was required to speak with leaders from other major corporations. Although I had a great job, I had a glass office overlooked the ocean. It was absolutely magnificent. It was also during this time that I developed a social anxiety disorder called glossophobia, or like stage fright times 1,000. I couldn't speak to anyone besides my family and close friends. And I was required to speak to leaders and have meetings on top of meetings. And I couldn't even look anyone in the eye. I couldn't shake anyone's hand. I couldn't speak up in meetings. I couldn't even answer a phone call. It was that bad. I remember someone telling me about an organization called Toastmasters International. It's a public speaking group. And I kind of looked them up because I really needed help. I was young. Like I said, the company moved me here, so I really didn't know anyone. I had a cousin in town, but other than that, I didn't have my family there, and I wasn't going back. There was no going back. Actually, 9/11 happened right after I moved, so there were no other jobs at the moment. It's kind of like when the pandemic, everything shut down because they didn't know what was going on, and so I knew I had to overcome this issue I was having. I remember the first day calling Toastmasters, and I found out that they met a couple blocks from my job, and the meeting started around 7, and I got off of work around 5 o'clock. So I thought, I'll just bring my lunch or bring my dinner and drive on over to the parking lot and wait there till the meeting started. Well, that day I sat in the car for those 2 hours, screaming, crying. I was hyperventilating because I was having panic attacks. I was calling my mother. I was screaming because I was terrified to walk in the door because I knew they were going to ask me to speak. And if anyone knows me, they know I'm pretty courageous. So I did muster courage to do that. I walked in, but all I could do was say, "Hi, my name is Christy," and sit down when they called on me. And that went on. That scenario played on every single week for months until some leaders of the organization saw that I really was having a serious problem. And so they encouraged me to take a little role here. 1 minute role in Toastmasters was like 10 years to me. It seemed so long because I was so scared. I took on little roles. I remember my first speech. It's a 4-minute speech. I think I've been talking more than 4 minutes now, but it was a 4-minute speech. And I almost passed out. It was awful. I couldn't get any oxygen in my lungs. My head felt like it was going to burn. My ears felt so hot. My whole body was shaking because I was terrified. But after that speech, everyone still clapped. They applaud. And they really encouraged me. And everyone's smiling. And I just felt a sense of euphoria because I overcame something that frightened me so much. And so I kept coming back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And over time, I got better. But as I began to speak more and mentor others, I started looking at that door that I once walked into when I was so scared and terrified to walk in. And what I was looking for was other people that looked like me, had like terror in their eye and wanted nothing more than just to turn around and leave and just hide and never come back. And so I took it upon myself to never allow anyone to go through that, because I don't want anyone's life to be stuck, stagnant, or feel inferior or invisible because they're not able to learn the art and skill of public speaking. And so I have mentored many hundreds over the years. And I like to always share my most favorite or successful client who came to me. He was very monotone in his tone. He worked for an oil and gas company for about 24 years. So he was very successful. And he led many groups. But one time he was put on the spot at an event and he felt what I was experiencing myself. And so we worked on his vocal inflection. We also worked on his ability to engage an audience. And he went on to be best-selling author, speak around the world. Wow. And now he has groups or communities of like 4,000 on Facebook. He does retreats and he makes well over another $1 million. He was already made $1 million in another business he had. It was like a software business, community online. But yes. And so speaking can take you so far. I mean, for myself, I've grown so much in my life because of the skill. I mean, back then I was just scared and I was trying to climb the corporate ladder, you know, and inching up just a little bit. But people who could communicate better than I could, they got the position and right. I didn't.
Yeah.
But now after developing the skill, I've been the face and the voice of CEOs. I've spoken internationally. I'm also an author, podcast host. Most recently, someone approached me with starting my own TV show. So that's going to air next month. Nice. All because of the art of public speaking. So that's my story.
Wow.
And I want the same for everyone. I do.
That is amazing. Just to conquer one fear, and then it just opened up all these doors for you.
Yes.
Like that's pretty amazing. You know, I did read through your story online, and you did mention that over 73% of people suffer from this anxiety of stage fright.
Right. Yes, people can talk just fine, like my client or my friend. Talk just fine. Speak. You may be leaders in your company, but let's say you go to maybe a Tony Robbins event and Tony asks you to stand up and answer a question or ask a question. You're put on the spot in front of all those people that you're not familiar with. That's when you experience stage fright. Or at a company event, and someone asks you a question to stand up. It's outside of your comfort zone. And so you feel these insecurities. And that's in the form of stage fright.
Yeah, you feel like someone's judging. I know when I stand up, I feel like someone's judging every word that I'm saying. So I'll trip up, and really no one even probably caught half of the mistakes that I made. It's just all in my head. So I knew that was my biggest thing when I public spoke. And I also joined Toastmasters. Maybe like last year I joined Toastmasters. So it is really scary to get up there, and I would always choose the role as the time taker because you didn't have to say much.
Oh, you're smart. I didn't think about that. I think I was timekeeper like probably 4 times in all these years. I never wanted the timekeeper role because I couldn't pay attention. I forget, and I'd be so into stories than speeches. I would forget to tell the time. So
yeah, that was my role. I'm like, like, you want to do something else?
That's funny.
Yeah. So Toastmasters is really a great tool because it's such a no judgment zone. You all are, and then everyone is in the same spot, right? They're trying to just sharpen the skills. So when you mentioned Toastmasters, it made me smile, and I'm like, yeah, I was once a part of Toastmasters. So.
Oh, awesome. Stay with that group. That group has changed my entire life. The friendships that you gain, and just being with like-minded individuals and professionals who are all also growing and using personal development to advance in their own area of expertise. So that's so amazing. But I like the point you mentioned is that when we're experiencing the stage fright or fear of speaking in front of people, it really is feeling being judged or thinks people are going to judge you, criticize you, make fun of you. And all of that comes from when we're young. When we're young, our parents said, what? Be quiet, sit down. And I did. Shut up. And then we went to school, you got in trouble for talking too much. Right? And then you get in trouble, the kids will laugh at you. And now you're a leader and you get put on the spot to speak in front of a group. All those little incidences that occurred in your past start to surface. Maybe you're bullied as a child. I have a client who was seriously bullied, and his family, his brothers and father kind of bullied him. And so he felt very suppressed over time. And now he's in his 50s and he really wants to make a change in his life, but he's never gotten over this fear of being in public and speaking his mind in public and getting his message out. So all of these things, yes, and that's what can make people stay stuck and stagnant, is this feeling of people judging them. I know I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I would just be quiet, but I guess I reached a point where I was like, hey, I have a voice, and I don't have to sound like you or him or her. I can just be myself and still, perfectly articulate what I'm trying to say. Is when you find your own voice and your own style and you grow confidence in that. I think that's what helped me, not trying to compare myself to global speakers. I'm not on that level. I just started.
Right.
So, giving myself grace on top of that. So that's another thing, and not taking it so serious, because it's supposed to be fun most of the time. Public speaking is supposed to be fun because you're sharing information, ideas, what have you, so.
Yeah, I know for me, I was a perfectionist and I had to be perfect. And I didn't realize that, hey, I'm starting out. I'm new with everything. When you're new, it's a learning curve. Right. So I'm not going to be as great as the people who've been doing it for 10 years. And I had to learn, like you said, to give myself grace and be comfortable with the journey and where I am. And that's where the confidence started to come in. But the confidence really started when I started helping other people and serving, because I found that, I'm a little bit better, but I can help someone that may be a little newer than me. And then as I continue to grow, I'd help someone else and help someone else and help someone else. And that helped me build my confidence as well.
I can see that. And then you kind of see the fruits of your labor too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Over time, yes.
So what tactics do you have for us today, for us stage fright individuals that we
what do you want? Let's see. Well, there's so many different public speaking tactics that you can use to become better communicators. But okay, the areas of stage fright, well, that was one of them, to serve. And where should I start? All right. So, okay, are you talking about on stage itself or on Zoom?
I guess we can, everything is mostly virtual now. So let's go with Zoom.
Everything's virtual. Okay.
Most of my job, most things that I have now is through Zoom. I rarely meet in person with anyone since the pandemic.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of things online. And for me, when I pivoted from being in front of groups and organizations and speaking in front of groups live and pivoting online, that was scary, even though I've been doing it for 15 years. So it was funny. I joined a challenge that a couple of my friends from Toastmasters started. And we all joined a challenge. It was a video challenge. And when I first started, I had this group, Facebook group. It was a secret group. It was me and my mother. I think she was on there, rooting me on. I thought I was really doing something. I was doing my videos. And they said, Christie, no, not so fast. You had to put that on your Facebook profile, account. And I said, oh my goodness, I had 5,000 people on my Facebook account. I can't never do that. So that's the world. There's over 3.6 billion people on social media. Yeah. That was scary. That wasn't a room of 30 people in Toastmasters. This is the world seeing you. But I did it and I survived. I survived that incident and I did it more and just really pushed myself to really, the way you're going to get better at anything is by doing the reps. That's how you get stronger, right? You're at the gym. How do you get stronger? How do you gain muscle? You do reps. Repetition is so important for your growth. And when I started to learn to get more comfortable online, I did 4 videos a day for 3 months straight. I was committed. I was dedicated to learning the skill called social media. Okay. Also, various Zoom meetings, and I had to learn. It's a learning process. People don't realize that you don't just get on Zoom and hey, you're just a star. There's so many things you have to understand. For one, eye contact. Okay, there's a little green dot here that we have to focus on. And you don't just do that after a couple of times. It took me many, many times to learn proper eye contact. Now, a trick that you can use when you're on Zoom or doing a Facebook Lives or anything like that is you can certainly get a picture and cut out of your friend or your spouse or something like that and put it right by that little dot. Okay. Mm-hmm. And speak to that person as if they're your best friend. Okay. When you think about it, when you're talking to your best friend, you got you ladies or men, or you're out there hanging out at a restaurant, and you're chatting all night long. You're not thinking about, oh, what did I say? What am I look like? Anything like that. You're talking about that conversation. You're really into that conversation. You're speaking from your heart. That's one tip I can give you that will help greatly is to cut out a picture of your friend, your best friend, put it about a green dot and speak to that person as if they're right there with you. That's going to allow you to come out more naturally, more empathetic, and also kind of remind you to keep your eyes focused on that little green dot. And then practice. With my clients, I always have them. I don't care if they come to me to learn how to speak on stage or at their company level. They all have to do videos. Okay. It's also allows you to get comfortable speaking about your topic.
That's true. How many sessions do you have with your clients?
The one-on-one coaching program that I have right now, which may change next month because the demand's going to be higher with the TV show, is 12 weeks. So 12 weeks, you are transformed if you do the work. And that's what I tell my clients. You get the results when you do the work. So you work with me, we work on different gradient scales. I see areas where you're great at and areas where you can improve upon. And not only do we work on those public speaking tactics on a gradient scale, but we work even stronger on those areas that you need improvement. Okay. But I also require you to find a group, whether it's Toastmasters or church group or something that's going to allow you to have stage time. Okay. Even in a couple of minutes, I want you to get comfortable being in front of people. Next is videos. Either I have a client who really wants to do Zoom videos. He does Zoom videos. I have clients who have podcasts. Okay, well, I want you to record multiple podcasts during this time. Or Facebook Lives. Do more Facebook Lives, but get comfortable talking about your subject, talking to your target market. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, it's just pushing people past their limits.
Yes, because that's really how people stay stuck, is they're not willing to do the work. And I did the work. Yeah. I mean, when I started 18 years ago, think about it. There was no Facebook, there was no Google back then, but I wanted to get better. Right. So what I would do, this is funny, I would take a sheet of paper. I don't have a sheet of paper. Yeah, I have a sheet of paper. But I would take a sheet of paper and I'd write a happy face on it. And I taped that to different pillows around my room. And I placed stuffed animals or pillows around my room. That was my audience. And so I would practice my eye contact, my body movement, my vocal inflection, all of that in front of my audience. And so that helped me definitely when I was on stage.
Do the work.
You gotta put in the work. You have to put in the work. If you want to get better, you have to put in the work. I used to practice 8 times a day.
Oh my.
Remember, all you need is 5 minutes. Remember those 5-minute speeches.
Right.
5 minutes. So find 5 minutes throughout the day to practice. So I'd practice when I got up in the morning, practice in the car, going to the gym, practice on a treadmill, 5 minutes. I'm on a treadmill, 30 minutes.
Right.
Driving home on my lunch break, 5 minutes. On the way home, 5 minutes. Before I go to bed, 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes.
And what's 5 minutes? We waste 5 minutes.
You waste 5 minutes doing all kind of silly things. Yes. So if I'm in a car, at that time, I remember I lived in an apartment, so I couldn't practice my vocal inflection variety in the car, but I do my vocal exercises loud, like, Gug, 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 gug. And I wanted my vocal cords to get strong because I hated my voice. I practiced it in the car, going to the gym or driving to work or driving home. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. You heard that, audience. And that's with anything, not just public speaking. Like if you want to get better at something, you're going to have to practice. That's the only way you can conquer the fear is by facing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like on your first podcast, were you like kind of scared about recording your first podcast?
Oh, yes. My mom was my guest and I was learning. And even still, like, it's weird that I have a podcast or anything because I am horrified of public speaking. That's why this is so weird that you say that. But the more that I've recorded and the more that I've done videos, and like I said, I joined Toastmasters so I can like be more articulate, in a sense. And just by practicing, I'm more comfortable, with this. But you put me in front of like actual people, like not on the screen. That's where I still have my little areas there, but yeah, I that's why I'm like listening to you. Like I was afraid and I just went for it. Like I wanted a podcast, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go through this fear. So I had my mom be my first guest, and I think my best friend was my second guest. So I started interviewing people I knew first before reaching out to people that I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. See, look, and now you're expert. Look at that.
I don't know about that.
But it goes in line with everything we do. It's just the fear of the unknown and something that's new. But if you think about it, babies don't feel that. I read something where toddlers fall like 5,000 times before they learn how to walk.
Jeez.
Think about that. How many times they fell down before they got back up and learned how to walk. It was not an option whether they were going to walk or not. They were going to walk.
That you have to do. If you want to get from here to here quicker, this is what you have to do. In their mind, the baby is like, this is what I have to do.
I'm just doing it. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Yes,
it's no thought. And I'm wondering, like, as we grow older, I feel like we're more fearful.
Oh yes.
And like you said earlier, it could be based on past experiences or past relationships, but it's like you start off like confident in everything, and then you get older in your 30s or 40s and you're like, man, I'm horrified of everything.
Everything's scary. When I started my podcast, I was terrified, but now I know that that's what you have to go through in order to get better. Even my TV show, we're in beta mode right now. And I felt that fear again. And I'm like, this is what's happening. Same thing happened when I started doing the Facebook Live. Same thing started when I started my podcast. Same thing started when I started speaking 18 years ago. The same thing. Just do it. Just do it and keep doing it. You're going to get better and it's going to fade away. Yeah. So now I'm used to it.
Yeah, and it's almost, there is a rumor I've heard for years. Is the let's see if I can work this right. Is the what am I trying to say? I just got messed up in my thought. So I was told that a person who is always nervous before making a speech, that is like a sign of a great speaker. Is that true?
All speakers that I've ever met, even those who are very seasoned, like 30, 40 years speaking, they all still feel little butterflies. And I don't feel butterflies anymore. I get more adrenaline, a lot of energy. And probably too much energy. I need to calm down. I'm like, Chris, you need to calm down a bit. This is getting carried away. Yeah, because I get like, whoa, I'm gonna go. And I can't calm myself down, and I start eating like everything I can. Yeah, it's bad. But yes, it's nervous energy. But it's how you use that. I use that energy to dominate the audience, and the way I speak is more engaging. I engage my audience. I stop them from doing whatever it is they're doing, and they're going to pay attention to me and my message. Because I put together a message, I have a message that's going to hopefully transform the lives of the people in this room. And so you must hear this. And that's where you come. That's a stance that you must come with, the confidence that you must bring on the stage in order to do just that. And so my energy is what really makes me who I am as far as the dynamic speaker on stage.
Well, you have to captivate people and you have to keep them interested because the attention span, especially now, is very short. I think it's less than 20 minutes at this point.
But you have no idea how many speakers I see do not move and will talk like this and just speak. And yes, it still happens.
Well, entertained in a sense, so you're gonna lose them. They'll start thinking about dinner or lunch or something. Like, man.
Yes, when I get on stage, you're not gonna be thinking about anything. No. Yes.
So not only are you a coach, you're also an author. So you wrote a book about public speaking.
I wrote a book. And you know what was so easy about my book is that I spoke the book. I spoke it. I'm gonna write a book. Oh my gosh. No, I actually spoke. I said, hey, I'm a speaker, so shouldn't there be a dictation something on this computer? I found one. I Googled it and I said, oh, okay, well, I'll just speak my book. And then I gave it to an editor and they edited it. But I like that technique because I wrote the book in about 3 months. I just had a goal to write maybe 10 pages a day. And it's my voice. They're my thoughts. And I didn't use a ghostwriter for my book.
Like that is a good tactic for writing a book, actually.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, because you can edit later. You can add the commas and punctuation later.
That's exactly what I did. So every morning I just speak a little bit, about 20 minutes talking each morning. I wrote my book. And my book is called From Stage Fright to Superstar. So it shares my story. And then I also give a few public speaking tactics to get over stage fright.
And where can people find your book?
On Amazon.
Okay, that's easy. We all know where Amazon is.
Everybody knows Amazon is my best friend. I just have a picture of Amazon right here by this green dot because I love Amazon and Amazon loves me.
So you're the creator of the Client Connection Code.
Yes.
Can you expound upon that?
Now, the Client Connection Code is one of my keynotes that I speak to more corporations or executive coaching and training in the area of sales. But I don't do the back end sales where, hey, rah, meet your goal. My technique my topic is more on the front end of sales. Okay. That's establishing relationships and connections with your clients in a way that increases sales, repeat buyers, and also referrals. And so that's what's missing nowadays is people don't know how to connect. You know, you go to a store, let's say you can go to Apple. You can go to Apple or Verizon. You walk in there, what are they doing?
Yeah.
No one's greeting you. The only place that really follows this method that I've seen is Walgreens, my local Walgreens. Every time I walk in Walgreens, they say, hi, welcome to Walgreens. When I first started doing that, I was like, but because nobody does that. They ignore you when you walk in the door. And that was great, but that's so true. Within 3 seconds, you should be greeting the people when they walk into your building. And if you can greet them by name, that's even better. But your energy, right? Your energy and your professionalism should come out in your demeanor when you're greeting a client. And that's what the Client Connection Code is. I go over the introduction, how to introduce yourself, how to establish rapport with your clients, how to follow up with your clients, and how to follow up and not say, hey, we have a new sale coming in. No, find out about their family, their children, if any graduations are coming up, anniversaries or birthdays, find out about them. Bring back the human to human connection.
Right.
Everything is going toward technology, and people are longing for humans to communicate with them.
I think people really realized that last year when we were cut off from communicating, from human contact, except for the people that live in the house with us. But yeah, I think people realized like, hey, I do need humans. But I don't think we realized that prior, because we were steady going through our regular routine. But when our routine was cut off, it's like, oh man, I wish I can hug my friend. I wish I could hug my mom, and even through the pandemic, I see a lot more people are trying to connect with people and hang out and do girls' nights and things like even myself, like I want to see everybody. As soon as I can go outside, I want to see everybody. So you are right about that. But prior to that, I would just text all day. I wouldn't try to set up any type of get together or anything. So I feel like 2020, I can speak for myself, just made me realize, how important it is to connect with people off of technology, like in person. So yeah.
Right. And Zoom has been a saving grace for people
Yes.
who are inside, because I really do feel like we're having a lunch or something, chit-chatting about public speaking and life. Right? It helps. It helps. So that was one of my saving grace was Zoom. But yes, I'm out more. I'm doing more. Last 2 months, I've been traveling a lot. I was speaking in Mexico to get my international speaking certificate. So I spoke there. I'm spoken in Arizona twice, San Antonio. So I've been traveling a lot speaking. I'll definitely take this month off from traveling because I've been going quite a lot.
Okay. So that's your main job. You're a professional speaker.
Professional speaker and coach.
And coach. Okay. And author.
And podcast host, and TV show host.
Podcast host, and a TV show. You got it going on. So at BYOK, we have a simple question. If you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be and why?
One word? I only get one word?
You can get two if you want.
If I could describe myself, dynamically unique.
Okay, and why?
Because I am me, and I'm the best version of me. So I'm very different than anyone else. When I step into the room, all eyes will be on me because I have a mission to dynamically engage any audience.
Love it. Love it. You're one of those people that walk and everybody's like, oh, I just got to talk to her.
Absolutely, you're gonna talk to me because I'm gonna be talking to you.
One more thing before we get out. So small talk. Do you have like a quick tactic for small talk? Because what happens when you're talking to someone and it just stops, and then you're just standing there and you guys are just, it's like it gets awkward because it's only supposed to be a small conversation. What if the person stayed beyond the short period of time? Like how can you make it less awkward?
If someone, repeat that, if they stop talking, or
you're having small talk, you're at a networking event and you guys are talking about what you do, the weather, whatever, and then it just falls silent.
Oh, you just go to the next person. I was so nice.
That's not rude though to be like, okay, bye.
The conversation ended. There's a whole room of people for me to talk to.
The person's still standing there, so it's like
they're not talking. They're done. They're done. We talked about what we needed to talk about. We talked about business. We talked about the sun. We talked about where they're from. Awesome. Great. It was so nice meeting you. I'm going to go and chat, walk around a little bit and see if there's anybody else I can connect with.
Oh, that's a good segue. Just end it off.
They know that you're there for a reason.
Right.
And your reason is to meet and greet and network with as many people as you possibly can because you have a short amount of time.
Right. I just feel rude to just walk off. I'm like, you're still standing here. Just like, am I rude?
They should be doing the same. They should be doing the same. Or say, hey, let's go see if there's anybody else we can connect with. If they're really shy, I'll say, hey, let's go see if we can find someone else we can connect with. Oh, the food just arrived. Look that way. Anyway.
That's hilarious. I always tell my sister, I'm like, small talk is so weird to me. I'm like, I'm more of a tiny talker when it comes to networking, because I'll just run out of stuff to say. But like I just said, the person will still be there, and I'll just stand there like, okay, this is weird. So I didn't know that it was okay to just exit stage left.
Or bring it with you. Let's say, hey, let's go over there and talk to that group, or let's get some more business cards, or I don't know.
You thirsty?
Or connect. Yeah. But when you're at a networking event, remember you're there for a reason. You're there to network for your business.
Right.
Right. So your mission is to talk and network to as many people as possible. If you're more familiar with that group, help that person, maybe connect them with someone. If you see that they are having a challenge in that area, say, hey, there's somebody I want you to connect you to. Let's go meet this person. Go bring them over to someone else to meet. You go find someone else to talk to that you need to meet. There's so many different ways to do this. Yeah. It all depends on the situation. But again, repetition. I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of networking events. Hundreds.
So you would, and I go to maybe like 2 a year. So that's why
I used to go to 2 or 3 a week.
Wow. Next year I'll buff it up.
Yeah. Houston, oh, go ahead.
No. Oh, I was saying so I can, get my networking on.
Yes.
Go ahead. What was you saying?
Oh, I was going to say in Houston, the networking events used to be 200, 300 people at these events. So you didn't have time to sit with one person forever. At first, of course, I didn't know what I was doing. So I just sit there and twiddle my thumbs. Oh, nobody wants to talk to me. But after a while, everybody knew me. But I kept going and I kept learning and I kept growing. And people would say, yes, when you come here, have a mission to meet at least 10 people. And they teach me along and then I apply what they taught me. And over time, I got better. And I wasn't just born just to network. No, I'm an introvert. I was happy that COVID came around. I'm like, I don't have to touch anybody. I don't have to ever hug anybody. I don't have to see anybody. I can talk to myself on the internet all day long and have a great all the time laughing at this little green dot. So yes.
You're an introvert. Now that's interesting.
I would be so happy here. I'm happy home by myself. I'm just me and my cat. Yes.
So introverts, it's possible to be a great public speaker even when you're introverted. So that's great.
Yes. Let me give you a quick tip that's definitely going to help you and your listeners. Okay. When let's say you are introvert, right? Or you're shy or something like that. And Beyonce does the same thing. Okay. She created an alter ego. Her alter ego, if you know, was named Sasha Fierce. So when she broke from her group and she was supposed to be the sexy musician by herself, she had to create an alter ego to be able to portray that person on stage. That was totally not her. Now she doesn't need Sasha Fierce anymore, but try to create an alter ego. My alter ego is Christie Love. I was named after a movie star back in the day. It was a show called Get Christie Love. She's a movie star. That's where the stage fright to superstar came from. That's my alter ego. So when I'm on stage, I'm at an event, Christie Love comes out and leave Christy Williams behind. You do that over and over and over and over and over, again, it becomes natural. So whenever I'm out the house, Christie Love shows up. If you see me speaking on stage, you see all these colorful outfits and different things I do. That's Christie Love. At home, I'm just happy by myself, counting my steps down the hallway. Yes.
That is a great tactic. That is an awesome tactic. And I forgot all about the Sasha Fierce because you're right, Beyonce don't even mention her anymore.
She isn't here anymore. Yeah.
She doesn't. No, now she's the queen.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up today?
That's all I had. Just keep going, keep practicing. Do not give up, never quit on your goal. And I want to see you all just shine. I want to see you all shine. If you need my help, you know where to find me. Find me at beseenbeloved.com. And I do have a freebie, a gift I want to share with your listeners.
Awesome.
It's titled 7 Keys to Masterful Communication. You can get it on beseenbeloved7keys.com. So definitely want to give that to your guests as a gift.
Yes, I'll put that in the notes, the podcast notes.
Awesome. And find me on social media, Christie Love. On Instagram, I am Christie Love.
I am Christie. Okay. Yes. All right. We'll put those all in the notes too, where you can find Christie Love. And if you need pointers, she's your gal. She's your gal to get you out of, especially like, I don't know, when you said you were introverted, that means there's hope for us all.
There's hope. There's so much hope. Yes.
So I love your transparency, and I love you sharing tips that are not like, they're attainable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you shared attainable tips. So thank you so much for for like being a guest on the Be Your Own Kind podcast and sharing your wisdom with us today. We really do appreciate that.
Anita, you are absolutely amazing. This was so much fun. Where do you live?
Lafayette, Indiana.
Indiana. So, okay, we're going to have to find a place to go to lunch and have some coffee and tea or something like that, because I love talking to you. This is amazing. This is great.
Yes, same here, same here. And listeners, don't forget to practice and don't forget to be kind to yourself and to each other. Until next time, bye.
Bye.